Weeknights, 6 to 8 p.m., Clemson Sports Talk. I got to apologize to the folks over on YouTube, potentially watching on ClemsonSportsTalk.com, or not potentially watching. Why? Because I know I hit start streaming, but apparently I didn't. So I've let you down for 35 minutes, not even realizing. I mean, I've been doing all the breaks and everything. Been running the ads, doing it all, not on the air. I mean, on the air here on iHeart Radio. But I think about CHE, Clemson's poor little girl tonight, sitting there in front of the television being forced to watch Sesame Street instead of the show that shakes the Southland. So hopefully now we've gotten that straightened out. I was like, let me just check the volume levels. And I'm like, it's not even streaming. What a maroon. 803-978-1832. Appreciate Dan Rubin for joining us talking about the Boston College Eagles previewing BC. Harold Landry, monster. This dude, when he walks into a room, you notice him. It's not like when Dexter Lawrence walks into a room, but it's close. It's close. By the way, Dexter Lawrence down a little bit, trimmed up a little bit. Dabo Swinney saying he was a couple of biscuits away from being 350. He's down to 337 now, though. A slim and trim Big Dex. 803-978-1832. Earlier in the show, we talked about Steph Curry and his web.com tour professional debut. He's actually out on the course right now. I saw a tweet come through a few minutes ago that said, hey, if you're interested in keeping up with Steph Curry. And I'm like, yeah, 20 minutes ago when I was talking about it and I couldn't find anything on it. I guess he's just getting on the course. So maybe that's what's going on there with Steph Curry today. But anyhow, it was good catching up with our good buddy Dan Rubin, who's been a part of the show for a long, long time. Gave us that moniker, hashtag be a dude. That came from Coach Steve Adazio. Again, Adazio, in his 5th year at Boston College, last season they went 7-6. This year, it is going to be tough for the Eagles. Again, he mentioned they go to Northern Illinois. They're an underdog in that one. They should beat Wake, you would believe, at home. Notre Dame, who was 4-8 last season, is probably not going to be 4-8 this year, and you would believe is a better ball club from top to bottom than Boston College, and I would assume will be favored on the road, even given their struggles in 2016. So, let's assume for a minute that you win 2 of the first 3 games, which I think is pretty fortunate for Boston College. Then you go to Clemson, probably a loss. Central Michigan is not going to be a pushover, but we'll give them the victory there. You've got Virginia Tech, your homecoming game. Incredibly difficult. Now, if Virginia Tech, and this is going to be the thing about Virginia Tech all season, if they had Gerard Evans, they're probably the favorite to get back to the ACC championship game. But without him leaving early and going undrafted, they do have question marks there. But I believe Virginia Tech's a better program at that point. At Louisville is most likely a loss. Virginia, I would believe, is probably a victory for Boston College simply because of how good Boston College is both on the offensive line and the defensive line. And I think they win the line of scrimmage in that game. Florida State is a loss. NC State is a loss. The matchup against Connecticut should be a win. And at Syracuse, that's a very, very tough matchup. One, because Dino Babers and Syracuse, ultimately this matchup could come down to deciding whether or not they get to a bowl game. I mean, I think they'll be sitting right at 6 wins coming into that game. This is one that their bowl season may hinge on. But if you give them 1 win in those first 3, a win over Central Michigan, a win at Virginia, a win at Connecticut, I mean, that's a tough schedule, man. That's 5 wins if they happen to beat Syracuse. And I like Steve Adazio. And if you've got a chance to see him on the coaches' film of the national championship games or anytime they do that and breaking down film, he's an unbelievable coach and understands the game. And I think, if you were going to go play for anybody right now, Adazio's a guy that it would be fun to go play for. The problem is for Boston College right now, in the ACC, they're kind of an outlier. They just feel like an outlier. And I feel like they're so tied in to the Northeast that it feels like they're not really even a part of the conference. Remember the disconnect that oftentimes people have with Maryland in the ACC? Where, it almost felt like at times, this was back before expansion of the league, but it felt like Maryland was kind of this outsider.
Grab cakes and football. That's what Maryland does.
That's the way it felt. Anytime you had to go up to Maryland to play a game, you're like, oh my gosh, we got to go to Maryland to play this game? And I understand, you don't have to be Carmen Sandiego to understand that Syracuse, New York is further north than Boston, Massachusetts. But for whatever reason, there is, to me, and you can weigh in on this on social media. Give me your theory. You could tweet to us via the text us via the Ocean Reef Resort text line, or you could call me. Give me your theory on this, because this is the way I felt ever since these teams came into the league. Boston College feels so far removed, much further removed from the Atlantic Coast Conference than even Syracuse. And I can't really put my finger on the reason that is, other than to tell you that I think because the metropolitan Boston, Chestnut Hill area of our country is just that. It's a city in the north. Its focus is Major League Baseball, hockey, NFL football, Boston Celtics. It just feels like Boston College is never going to be a priority for the majority of the people there, and thus there's a disconnect from the rest of the conference. Syracuse, their focus is on Syracuse. Much like the city of Clemson, their focus is on Clemson. I think Notre Dame being in the deal with the ACC helps Boston College for sure, because that is an old rival. But the way things are going right now for Maryland in the Big Ten, in terms of the financial packages, in terms of the success that they've had in the Big Ten, probably, and maybe I'm wrong on this, Boston College would have been a better fit in the Big Ten. Maryland should have stayed in the ACC. I just have a disconnect with Boston College. I don't have a problem with them, but they feel like the farthest from an actual member of this league than anybody else in the whole conference.
Our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest. Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to win your trip starting Monday. State Farm Neighborhood Sessions celebrates great artists who inspire us to give back to our neighborhood. Head to neighborhoodsessions.com to check out what these artists did for their communities and find out how simple it is to help yours.
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com.
You've done the research, Jonathan, and decided on a Honda.
And you waited for just the right time to buy, Gary, and now it's here.
The Honda Summerbration Sales Event
at Honda of Columbia.
We're clearing out every 2017 Honda in stock at the lowest prices of the entire year and giving you a hassle-free buying experience.
Don't wait. The Honda Summerbration Sales Event is the time to buy at Honda of Columbia, your friendly family Honda dealer since 1978.
Highway 378 at I-20 and HondaofColumbia.com.
Stars and Stripes Sports is a leader in the sports athlete development market, offering innovative health, fitness, training, and player development solutions for players and coaches of all levels of youth sports. Stars and Stripes Sports is looking to add at least 2 people per state to start their own business for sports testing and to market these events locally. We want people to start their programs in early 2017, starting with spring training. Many high-quality athletes fail to reach their potential. Call Chris today, 704-737-9970, or email Chris Carlson at starsandstripes.com.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules.
Follow Clemson Sports Talk on Twitter at Clemson Sports. Now more of Clemson Sports Talk. Take it away, Dad.
It is the show that shakes the Southland. Lawton Swan, sorry to our Boston College Eagles fans peeking over the fence tonight. I'm just disconnected from you a little bit. I feel for you. You'd have been a better Big Ten team, Maryland. You are the real loser in this. One, because of the deal. Have you seen the deal that the Big Ten has with Maryland and Rutgers in terms of the financial compensation that these two teams have by comparison? They had to give up a huge percentage of the money that came in or that is coming in to the Big Ten simply because of the financial deals that they both were willing to take to join the Big Ten. The Big Ten distributed roughly $32.4 million to its 11 what they call full-fledged financial members. Nebraska, Maryland, and Rutgers each agreed to a 6-year integration plan before they would become full financial partners with the 11 other schools. Now just think about that for a second from the perspective of the conference, from the health of the league and the camaraderie of the league. Now, Nebraska's 6-year integration ends when their new media rights deal kicks in. Rutgers and Maryland don't become full-fledged financial partners until 2020 and 2021. So while everybody else is raking in $32.4 million a year, Rutgers made $10.86 million in 2015-2016. They made $11.2 million in 2016-2017. And then this year they'll make $11.6. While everybody else during that time every year has made $32.4 million. Maryland and Rutgers on this other kind of thanks for joining, guys. When you start to think of it like that, why would you have loyalty to a conference at that point? Now, I understand that these two teams were trying to find a place to go. But, man, why would you leave just to get slapped around? And that's exactly what happened. I mean, this new deal between ESPN, Fox, and the Big Ten was worth $2.64 billion. Yet Rutgers and Maryland just get a little sliver of it, and everybody else in the conference splitting that pie amongst themselves. And Boston College, I'm just telling you, you feel more like a Big East team, or excuse me, a Big Ten team than you do an ACC team. In Maryland, I didn't think I'd ever say I miss you, but I kind of miss you. I kind of miss your awful fans, your potty mouth rivals. I do kind of, in some respects, miss them being on the basketball schedule, and I'm sure Duke and North Carolina and the other teams in the league that played them in more heavily contested and more nationally recognized basketball matchups probably miss them as well. And they've got a huge athletic department in terms of all the sports they play. From soccer, women's soccer, they've got lacrosse, they've got everything. I mean, they're a huge athletic program. They don't feel like the Big Ten. Boston College, no matter how many times I talked with Dan Rubin, I love Dan Rubin, BCEagles.com. There's a disconnect between them and the rest of the conference, I feel like. I don't know if there's another member of this league that really has that type of feel. Syracuse is close. Pittsburgh is another one that kind of falls in and out of love with me every once in a while in terms of being in the ACC. Pittsburgh's probably a better take for the Big Ten. Rivalry with Penn State, all of that. Now, they're playing, but, the conferences, fortunately, I think they are all in an era where there is going to be more realignment. There is going to be more shuffling, and I think there's going to be some leniency to it. I know all the grant of rights deals and everything locking people in at $50 million buyouts and everything else that's going on in the world of college football, but I think at some point cooler heads are going to prevail once we move forward with the college football playoff, whether that's 4, 8, however many teams. Conferences, once they hit 16, I think they'll split to 8, and they may start to realign just a little bit to make it more geographic, make it fit more of the NFL model, which clearly works. But for crying out loud, to sit here today and think about those programs and kind of the vibe and feel it, sometimes they just don't feel like ACC members. 803-978-1832. I mentioned yesterday about Trevor Lawrence, Xavier Thomas, Mike Jones, and 4 others, Josh Belk included, members of Clemson's 2018 recruiting class that went ahead and signed their financial aid agreements, which opens up the opportunity for Clemson to put out tweets featuring these players now openly. No longer are you sending it by a back channel to the player to have him put it out, but now you can put it out openly. You can talk about the player. If you want to go to practice and talk to Dabo Swinney and say, Coach Swinney, talk to us about Trevor Lawrence coming in next year. He can actually speak about this kid now, whereas before he couldn't because that financial aid agreement's been signed. One thing I want to say is, you guys know this about me. I have been a huge proponent of the early signing period. I believe in it. And one of the reasons I believe in it is because I feel like high school football players have the right to protect themselves from the vultures that are coaching staffs who still want to get a shot at them, coaching staffs who still want to get a crack at them and an opportunity to talk to them. And quite frankly, I think for coaching staffs, if you get a chance to take less time from trying to convince a kid who's not coming to really focus on somebody else, maybe you don't miss out on somebody that you could have had because you were keeping your eye on the wrong prize. You were keeping your eye on a prize that wasn't interested, never was going to be interested. Financial aid agreements kind of help out with that. But the more these things are being signed sooner and sooner, I mean, literally like August 1 or August 2nd, wherever day they got signed, like the day after official offers went out. So I believe it was the 2nd once we started seeing some of the first ones come rolling in. The thing about this for me is I don't know that you need an early signing period now that I think about it. And I know we've added it And I know coaches don't like it. And it's 3 days in February, or 3 days in December, and some people don't like it. But I'll be honest with you. The financial aid agreement is virtually a letter of intent. I mean, it realistically is. And so maybe all the hubbub and all the brouhaha and all the Swanee going, we need an early signing period to relieve the players. Again, you'll remember I wasn't exactly excited that it happened at the end of the season anyway. I think the dates are what? December the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, something like that. That's a whole football year done. That means kids are being bothered in August. Kids are being bothered in September and October and November through the high school playoffs. I like this financial aid agreement thing. You can get rid of the early signing period, but get these kids inking the financial aid agreements. That's really what you need. That's what I like. Clemson's got 7 of them in the books. We don't need, it made me recognize we don't need an early signing period. We just need these financial aid agreements signed. And that's perfectly legal. That's out there and can be done. So for Clemson Tiger fans everywhere, man, buckle up. The future's bright. You already got basically 2 of the biggest players in the upcoming 2018 class on that financial aid package. They're good to go. Hour 2, flip side.
The solar eclipse is coming. Watch it safely and in style with your free eclipse glasses available right now at all Pit Stop convenience stores. That's right, Coca-Cola and Pit Stop are partnering to give a pair of eclipse glasses to every customer who buys a Coke product at Pit Stop. Absolutely no catch. Just buy a Coke product and get a pair of commemorative glasses free. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last, so hurry in, because like the eclipse, if you miss it, you miss it. Want free eclipse glasses? Don't stop till you're at Pit Stop.
Do you want a pharmacy that treats you like a person and not just a number? Then let Craig and Lori at Southlake Drug show you what a pharmacy should be. Fast, friendly, and professional. Southlake Drug can transfer your prescriptions and take the hassle out of getting your medicine and getting you on your way. Southlake Drug takes all major insurance programs, including Medicare, Medicaid, and state employees, and they provide immunization services, including flu shots with no wait and no appointment. Southlake Drug, 1856 Southlake Drive in the Food Line Shopping Center, 399-7701, or southlakedrug.com.
SCMEP is committed to helping manufacturers grow. In 2016, SCMEP partnered with over 400 manufacturers, creating a state impact of over $1.4 billion. If you're a South Carolina manufacturer, SCMEP is here for you. Visit scmep.org/radio. SCMEP is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization, an NIST MEP affiliate, sponsored by SCMEP in cooperation with the South Carolina Broadcasters Association and this station.
Cottingham Family Dentistry is proud to announce the opening of their new office located at 3722 Devine Street, and they're welcoming new patients. What makes Cottingham Family Dentistry different? It's in the name, family. They will cater to your needs and the dental needs of your children. Cottingham Family Dentistry offers same-day crowns, dental implants, cosmetic dentistry, including whitening, veneers, and tooth-colored fillings, and many other dental services. If you're searching for an amazing dental home, call 776-4234 or stop by their new office at 3722 Devine Street and become a part of the family at Cottingham Family Dentistry.
Attention, anyone who's suffering from lower back pain. Right now, Health Source is offering our listeners an absolutely free back pain consultation on a first-come, first-served basis by calling 803-218-9047. Our doctors can find the root cause of your lower back pain and show you how to get well fast and stay well longer. No more pain. No more feeling worn out. Essentially, no more not feeling like yourself. Call 803-218-9047.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I want to be a glass countertop in a new home.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's best birthday present.
When I grow up, I want to be a football stadium.
When I grow up, I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
When I grow up, I want to be a fancy backsplash.
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
When I grow up, I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
I want to be a rocking chair on a sunny porch. I want to be a skyscraper. I want to be a
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. A public service advertisement brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
From the E.F. Martin Heating and Air Studios, this is Fox Sports Radio 1400.
WCOS Columbia.
Available anywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app.
Fox Sports Trending now.
It was a battle of first-place teams at Wrigley this afternoon.
Swing and a drive, deep right center field. Hayward going back, looking up, going. It is gone. Goodbye. Halfway up the seats above the 368-foot marker in right center field. Bang! Zoom goes Daniel Murphy.
The first of 2 home runs he hit on the day on the Nats Radio Network. They dropped the Cubs by a score of 4-2. This update brought to you by Mechanic in a Bottle. Mechanic in a Bottle, an ethanol shield fuel stabilizer. Buy 2 of either product. Get a rebate on 1. Get them at Home Depot and other retailers. Go to mechanicinaBottle.com for details. Miami Herald says Jay Cutler has spoken with Dolphins head coach Adam Gase over the past couple of days. Steelers officially gave Mike Tomlin a contract extension, keeping him with the team through the 2020 season. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set,
just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's prime time right here on Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Be a part of the program, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Watch it live over there. Hang out with us on social media at Clemson Sports. You can follow me at CST Show. All of that information, if you're watching, right over here. Never going to be a weatherman. It never fails that I point the wrong direction when I'm trying to tell you where to look. Someday I'll figure that out. Somehow as well. Taking a look out to social media. Actually, it may not. It may have come from. No, it did. It did. It came from the Ocean Reef Resort text line. I'm not even sure. Not even sure if I want to give out the name of the individual who texted me this. I will read it for prosperity's sake here on Clemson Sports Talk. The unnamed texter, who I am protecting simply because of the contents of the message, says, I do not miss Maryland. In 2013, I squatted and pooped on their campus. Yeah. There you go. So not everybody misses Maryland. But at least Maryland felt like an ACC member. At least Maryland felt like they fit the footprint of the league. And I know there was a time they were an outlier, but they would clearly be situated right in the middle of the conference now. And I think there's a historical relationship with Maryland that exists that Boston College and Syracuse and Pitt will still continue to struggle to overcome for a long, long time. 803-978-1832 is the number. Double O, Overton's Orange on the line with us coming out of the break. Double O, what's up?
Man, I hope you give me a few minutes. I'm trying to liven this baby up. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling you, buddy. I'm feeling you.
All right, I got a list of topics here. And first, Maryland, back in the 80s, Lawton, they were pretty powerful, buddy.
Yes.
Football. I'm talking football, man.
No doubt.
And I do miss them. I don't care if nobody else does. I'd rather them be in the ACC. So,
I respect.
Anyway.
Listen, I respect that take. I mean, I really do. I think back they had Bobby Ross there. He was their head coach. He and Danny Ford had some back and forth. They won. I believe
right. There were some battles, man.
Well, they won the Atlantic Coast Conference one year on a.
Correct.
Man, if we had instant replay, Clemson would have won it because Maryland had a touchdown catch that they just dropped. It wasn't even a catch. It barely touched the tight end's hands, and they called it a touchdown.
It was not even close.
Yeah. You remember it well then.
I do, sir. Not even close. They gave it to him.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there a game where I think it was Bobby Ross and Danny Ford both had to coach from the press box because of?
I think that was Bobby Ross, not Danny, but it might have been both of them.
Yeah, I think both did.
Yeah, because they misbehaved now. They ain't gonna take no crap from nobody.
No, I think Danny got in trouble after that game for telling the officials what for about the.
I don't doubt that at all. That's my man Danny Ford.
Yeah.
Probably the best coach. Well, no, I'm sorry, Dabo's going. I think my man Dabo.
Yeah.
Boy, he's got, and thank God he's a young fella. Hey, let's talk about this, please. Kelly, I got two questions, please. Kelly, I need some your opinion and what percentages he's going to be our starter for the whole year. And my next question is, what is our weak? Do we have any weaknesses, first of all? And if we do, where is our main weak area? And after you answer those questions, I got one more thing. Well, the schedule I wanted to you told me North Carolina State's going to give us a challenge, sir. I really don't see how that. But you know what? Hey, you don't on any given day. It don't matter.
That's true.
You know.
So hold on. I'm going to have to take notes here. You said you had a list of notes. Now I got to take them. You asked so many questions. So
I apologize.
All right. So one was about Kelly Bryant.
Yes.
All right. The next one was about biggest weakness.
I don't see any. I have a question mark about, and I asked you the question about Kelly.
Yeah.
I want to know if he's going to be able to carry our team for the whole year. Now, that's the only question mark I have. Other than that, I don't see any weaknesses. Do you?
Well, I think there's some potential, yes, for some weaknesses, but a couple of. Well, I think the secondary could be a problem, but they get a benefit because the defensive line is so good.
You got that one right.
You see what I mean? Like, again.
Yeah, our secondary definitely will be challenged because they're not going to try and run on us.
But if you can get after the quarterback and make them make quick decisions, 00, then I think that's an advantage for the secondary where Clemson is very talented. You know, Trayvon Mullins got some snaps under his belt, but not a ton. A.J. Terrell's a heck of a good-looking football player and a heck of an athlete, a 5-star corner that's joining your program. You'd like to see him get in and get a lot of playing time this year just to show what he can do. And you've got a couple of versatile upperclassmen. And Ryan Carter, who I think has overachieved in his career. That would be my biggest concern is if Clemson's defensive line struggles to get pressure and quarterbacks have time, how good does the back end of the secondary hold up? I like the linebackers, and I like the front four.
Okay, Lawton, we've discussed this before. I've already told you, I promise you there's going to be pressure.
Yeah.
I promise. We have the two defensive ends we have. Are you serious? And probably our nose guard will bust through the middle and knock him upside the head.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence. I mean, listen, you can't deny that he and Christian Wilkins on the interior, along with a guy like Cleveland Farrell and Austin Bryant.
I promise you.
They're going to be – I mean, I agree. They should be. I agree with that. Now, let's talk about the Kelly Bryant situation real quick because here's another, kind of side of the coin in terms of the Clemson Tigers and Kelly Bryant. Bryant's got to be sharp in the intermediate passing game. I think we can sit here all day, every day, and try to decide who's going to be the great downfield passer for Clemson. But in reality, where the ball is most in peril is in the mid-range passing game. I mean, that's where you really put the ball in a spot where you got to have a tight window. And nobody's been better than Deshaun Watson in recent years. I mean, it's pretty incredible if you go back and just watch some of the throws Watson had to Hunter Renfrow. And he puts the ball where only Hunter Renfrow can catch it, which is about 3 inches off the ground in between a corner and a linebacker. just underneath the safety, all the things that Watson had. Who's going to be that guy? Can Kelly Bryant do that? If he can provide you with some of that, then it could absolutely be Kelly Bryant. But if he can't, I don't know how long this coaching staff will give him to develop that in game. Live bullets will tell the story for Kelly Bryant. I don't think it's going to be determined at practice. I think it'll be determined on the field. And that's maybe not a comfortable thing for people. But I think it's going to take live bullets to really get this quarterback situation, the quarterback situation all squared away. Double O, man, always appreciate your calls, man. Great thoughts, great insight, great conversation there about the Clemson Tigers. Biggest weakness for me at this point would still be, how's this secondary hold up? Tanner Muse absolutely looks the part. Nothing but great reports coming out of Tiger Town about Tanner Muse. This Clemson Tiger team did not fall off last season simply because of the fact that even though they lost so many players to the NFL, they've brought in so much talent. And the good news for you Clemson Tiger fans is that even this year, after losing the talent that they've lost, all of a sudden the cupboard is still very, very full. I mean, a guy like Travion Thompson, who 2 years ago here in Columbia made arguably the biggest catch in that game, here he is now. Nobody even talks about him. You go, talk about Clemson's wideouts. They're like, that's Deion Kane and Hunter Renfrow and Ray McLeod. Then you got the freshmen coming in. You got D. Higgins and Amari Rodgers, who, by the way, is well put together. You got Overton and Powell. Nobody even mentions Travion Thompson, who, when you talk about, kind of looking the part as well, I mean, he's a physical freak of nature, man. He really, really is. I mean, a guy like Sterling Johnson several years ago on the defensive front line for Clemson would have been all the rage. Man, he's an afterthought. Albert Huggins, afterthought. With guys like Wilkins and Lawrence and Jabril Robinson, on and on. I mean, that's just the crazy thing about this team right now. It's a fun thing, but it's a crazy thing. I'll tell you this, too. When it comes down to the linebackers right now, I remember when the All-In Cookout took place a year ago, and you had Trey Lamar commit to Clemson. And I remember saying, man, I wish his dad was committing, because his dad was just huge. Buddy, Trey is growing into it. Trey Lamar is going to be a monster in the middle for Clemson. The other bright spot and positive thing that came out of camp yesterday, and we'll talk with Zach Lentz, senior writer for Clemson Sports Talk, coming up in just a little bit as our new website prepares to roll out really soon. Zach's doing a great job nonetheless with the coverage on our current website. Milan Richard, tight end, looked really good, looked really fluid again. This is a guy with, I think one career catch in his time at Clemson. Going to be targeted this year at tight end, but he's athletic. Send it back out to the phone lines here on a Friday evening on the show that shakes the South Lane. Caller, what's up?
What's going on, Lawton?
I'm great.
Man, I'm gonna say, we're getting that much closer to the real world college football, but two things I got to get off my chest. Number one, the SEC having so many teams in the top 25. There's 4 jokes in this top 25. Number one, how are you going to put Ohio State in front of Clemson when, if I'm not mistaken, did not Clemson drum them in that Final Four? I mean, did they even score a touchdown?
Well, listen, not even that. Not even that. But Clemson's defensive line brings back everybody.
Every single person, if not maybe a little bit better.
And the offensive line brings back virtually everybody, except for your center.
That's the first one. And that one's maybe not so obvious. But then I'm going to break down this. Southern Cal, number 4 in the country. I mean, Southern Cal is almost as bad as South Carolina. They're almost non-existent in college football right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. We know they supposedly got a ton of talent there. I mean, supposedly Jadeveon Clowney was the greatest player to ever play and was going to be better than Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor. But we ain't seen it. I ain't seen nothing out of Southern Cal. Earn it, and I'll give you those props. The other ones are this. You got Georgia. You got Florida. And you got Tennessee all piled up there in the top 15. Are you kidding me right now? I'll take NC State over all three of them and put the house on it, Lawton. I'll put the house on it. It's an absolute joke what they got there. The other one that just blows my mind, Texas? Really? North Carolina's better than Texas, and we shouldn't be in the top 25. But they're in the top 25 right now. They won 5 football games last year, Lawton. Come on, folks. Wake up and realize Clemson, Florida State are the top of the ACC. The ACC is the football league. Why the SEC's got 6 teams ranked is an absolute joke.
Appreciate the phone call. I'll tell you this. You talked about, where the Florida Gators were ranked in the preseason coaches top 25. For me, the one that kind of stood out a little bit was the fact that when I think about, and maybe I'm just wrong on this, and I don't think Tar Hizzle's going to disagree with this, but when I think about Florida and Georgia and Clemson playing those teams, I much prefer the Tigers' chances against those two than I do Louisville, who's behind both of them in the preseason coaches poll. And again, as Mark Packer said here on the program yesterday, it is just the preseason. It's a bunch of nothing. It's just a bunch of fun. But in reality, I was watching SportsCenter yesterday. Scott Van Pelt was talking about the fact that even though in reality this is all just fun, the odds are the teams at the top are probably going to finish based on the track record somewhere near the college football playoff. It's a pretty good indication of who's going to be in the mix late. I mean, let's be honest. If you take the top 7 teams in the country, maybe the top 8, Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State, Southern Cal, Clemson, Penn State, Washington, Oklahoma, and you said, hey, you know what? What percentage of the population believes that those teams in some calculation are going to be in the college football playoff? I would think it's probably like 95% of the people, maybe 90. The other 10% would look outside of that top 8 and go, okay, well, maybe Michigan or Wisconsin, Oklahoma, LSU, all, you know what I mean? So if I gave you that list from Michigan down to 25, and I said, how many of you think that one of those teams is going to work their way in? It's not going to be a ton. It's just not. Back out to the phone lines we go here. Clemson Sports Talk, the Friday edition. What's up, caller?
Man, a lot and so many things in the last couple minutes. I went from one point I wanted to make to like 10, but I'm going to try to do it really quickly. Number one, I think you're way off base in worrying at all about our secondary. I really feel like this is the first time since Venables has been here that we have all 3 phases of the defense absolutely stacked.
Well, I hope you're right, and I love Mike Reed, so that's a positive.
No, I'm just saying. I'm telling you, Lawton, you know as well as I do, our coaching staff doesn't blow smoke up your you know what.
Yeah.
They tell it like it is. And what have you heard about Kayvon Wallace since day one? What have you heard about Isaiah Simmons since day one? We've seen for our own eyes what Tanner Muse, that dude is a baller.
Yeah, 4'4"
He's going to be
guy.
one of the best in the country. He's 6'4", 220, and runs a 4.4. Yeah. And he hits you like your freight train. Then you got Van Smith going back to his regular position that he started at. He's a great player. Then you've got Trayvon Mullen, A.J. Terrell, Mark Fields, who, if he can clean up his technique and not get so many penalties, is going to be one of the best shutdown corners. I mean, we have an embarrassment of riches in the secondary, an embarrassment of just chiseled physiques and unbridled talent in the linebacking corps.
About 15 seconds.
Yeah, Ben Boulware had a heart. We got pure talent now. Defensive line, enough said. And having said all that, Big Ten, 4 teams in the top 10, that's the biggest joke of the top 25. 38-0, 31-0, peace out.
There you go. Good call. Zach Lentz coming up. We'll talk with him about the secondary when we return.
Our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest. Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet, September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to win your trip starting Monday.
Brought to you by Macy's. Macy's presents your opening act at the iHeartRadio Music Festival, Rising Star winner James Maslow. For new music and exclusive content from James Maslow and other hot artists, check out iHeartRadio.com/mstyleradio.
When a stroke happens, every second counts. So don't drive and call 911 to get to the emergency department as soon as possible. At Lexington Medical Center, we're pleased to serve our community. As a certified primary stroke center, our acute stroke team rapidly evaluates patients and provides them with the fastest treatment possible. This specialized care limits the chance of brain damage and gives stroke patients a better chance of full recovery. Act quickly at the first sign of a stroke and count on the Stroke Center at Lexington Medical Center to provide you with the best possible care.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan, with quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
Warm weather means fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes, which can endanger your pets. Fleas and ticks can cause life-threatening disease, and mosquitoes transmit heartworms. There are some new, exciting, innovative treatments for the prevention of these parasites. Protect your pet. Consult your local authority, your neighborhood veterinarian. Brought to you by Midland's Veterinary Practice, where we care for the most valuable pets. Yours. Visit us at MidlandsVet.com on Facebook or Twitter. Call us at 750-7387, 750-PETS.
Looking for South Carolina's favorite country? You'll find it at 97.5 WCOS.
Let me tell you, the Beastie Boys, Paul Revere, License to Ill, that album, I was in 4th grade. I never will forget being in Mr. Eubanks' art class, talking with my buddy Britt Pender. By the way, his brother, for all you Gamecocks peeking over the fence, Brew, was recruited to South Carolina as a quarterback under Sparky Woods. Nope, scratch that, reverse it. Under, I guess it would have been Joe Morrison. Then Morrison passed away. Sparky Woods takes over, and Brew Pender shifts to cornerback. Started some for the Gamecocks. He's a lawyer here in town, in Columbia. Good family, good people. But that album was probably my first taste of hip-hop back in, like 1986, 1987, somewhere in there. Zach Lentz on Twitter. He's at Zach Lentz CST, senior writer for ClemsonSportsTalk.com, doing his thing over there, tickling the keys at the headquarters of the writers' station. I get what are we going to call where you work, Zach Lentz? What is the official name?
I like the den, the Tiger Den.
Oh,
how about that?
Oh, the Clemson Sports Talk Tiger Den, tickling the keys. I feel you.
How do you like that?
No, I really like it. I like it a lot, and I appreciate you taking some time out to join us on a Friday. I got to ask you, we had a caller earlier asking about, biggest concerns, biggest weakness, whatever you want to say, and looking at that defensive side of the ball. I said, I think the secondary's got some some things that, they've got to prove. I mean, 2 years ago, you had a lockdown corner in Mackenzie Alexander, and across from him you had Cordray Tankersley. Both of those guys are now gone. Who steps in and fills that void defensively for Clemson? We know the talent riches are there. We've seen the resume, but on photos and paper doesn't mean a whole lot if you can't perform on Saturday. What's your take, Zach, on this Clemson Tigers secondary? And let's start with the corners. Let's leave Van Smith and Tanner Muse and the safeties kind of out of this conversation for right now, although I know there is some belief out there, though, that a kid like Trayvon Mullen might be able to transition from corner to safety. But nonetheless, just looking at the cornerbacks, Mark Fields, Ryan Carter, on and on, your thoughts on that side?
Yeah, here's the thing. I think in Ryan Carter and Marcus Edmond, you've got two guys that Mike Reed feels very comfortable with either one rolling them out there in that field corner position. And, I think the guy that you're really going to hear a lot about is Kayvon Wallace. He's a name that's come up a bunch. He kind of, was a little he got a little bit of playing time last year, but this season they're really looking for him to take over that boundary corner. He's got the size to play that boundary spot. And for those that are listening that may be wondering, well, what's the difference in field corner and a boundary corner? The field corner is generally where you've got your shorter, smaller, a little bit faster guy, because he's got to cover more ground. Now, generally, you got some safety help over top of the field corner position. The boundary corner is generally where you want your taller, lankier guy, a guy that can kind of play one-on-one, a little bit more physical guy, because he's not going to get that safety help over top. So he's got to use the boundary, the sideline, to kind of as his other help defender. And so, Kayvon Wallace is a name that I would like to see kind of emerge. But I'll tell you a guy that I've been really waiting on, I think Clemson fans have been waiting on, is Mark Fields. And this is kind of his year to step up and make something happen, because it hasn't happened in his first couple of years in the Tiger uniform.
Yeah, and he had a little bit of an injury here. I believe he was dealing with turf toe this offseason, and hopefully the resting up will give him a chance to get back at 100%. And ultimately, when you look at this Clemson Tiger defense, how much do you think the cornerbacks will benefit from what is expected to be a very good defensive front line? I mean, how much is that going to help these guys? You think it's an immense help, or do you think it's a little help? I mean, how do you weigh that right now?
I think it's an incredible help. I mean, when you think about the ability to get pressure on a quarterback and force him into decisions that maybe he's not used to, force him into making quick decisions. Now, the quick decisions, that could frustrate some fans, because you're going to see a lot of slants, a lot of hitches, a lot of short passes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing it's going to eliminate is if the quarterback doesn't have time to throw the ball, he's not going to be able to take those deep shots downfield. And those were kind of the frustrating things with Tiger fans, even the last couple of seasons, where those busted coverage plays and stuff where guys get running free. I don't think quarterbacks are going to have a lot of time to do that this season. And I will say this, another name that you may hear coming out of camp is true freshman A.J. Terrell. He is the real deal when it comes to having ball skills of a wide receiver, the speed of a wide receiver, but a guy that just loves to hit you. And that's why he's playing defensive back and corner specifically, is because he's a guy that wants to hit people. And so that's something that the Tigers maybe have been missing a little bit of that position, but there's no doubt in my mind the Tigers will benefit greatly from a defensive line that can get pressure on a quarterback.
On Twitter, he's at Zach Lentz, CST, senior writer for us here at Clemson Sports Talk, and over on ClemsonSportsTalk.com, we've got all the photos from yesterday for you in terms of the players. Get a sneak peek at these Clemson Tigers, and then also a great article about one of the Clemson leaders on that defensive front, Dexter Lawrence. Let me ask you about Big Dex, because it's rare that you see a guy that comes in as a freshman and has the impact that he did. But I think he was fortunate in that in his freshman year, while he was an impactful player, he didn't necessarily have to assume a role of leadership maybe. This year, there seems to be much more of that, and he had that quiet confidence that I think you really liked yesterday when you guys had a chance to talk to him after practice.
Yeah, absolutely he did. He's a guy that really is just kind of learning how to manage the spotlight, manage the expectations. You know, he came in last year as a true freshman and had immediate impact on the defense. Just from a space eater standpoint, I mean, he's the kind of player that teams have to game plan around him. And then you've got Christian Wilkins, and you had Austin Bryant at points last season, Richard Yergin, the list goes on and on, Cleveland Farrell. I mean, and then you had Carlos Watkins. And Carlos Watkins, I think, was kind of the biggest help to a young Dexter Lawrence in the tackle position. He was playing right beside him so he could kind of help him with some of the calls and getting communication down. But I really think that, you know, he is going to step up this year. He's going to suffer a little bit, I think, from the maybe Deshaun Watson or the Mike Williams sophomore kind of, you know, can they live up to the hype? I don't think he's got to live up to the hype. I think he just needs to go out there and play, and the Tigers will be just fine up front.
Again, Zach Lentz on Twitter at Zach Lentz CST. Zach, man, hey, always appreciate you joining us. Great insight there into the program. And, again, for everybody that wants to keep up with everything Zach's doing, it's ClemsonSportsTalk.com. All his articles are up over there. And biscuits and ice cream, Lawrence is fit and ready to go. I love it, man. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely, man. We'll be back at it again tomorrow up there. So, you know, we'll have more coverage for the fans.
There he is, Zach Lentz here on Clemson Sports Talk tonight. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. The hashtag on Twitter, CST Show. And, of course, you can follow me, my personal Twitter, at CST Show. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I think that's going to roll into being another show account at some point. I got a feeling just given the name, that's going to eventually be the account for just the show. And at Clemson Sports will be the account for just the website. And I'll have to go back and find a new one. The closer we get to this thing taking off like a rocket ship, the more I realize that that's probably what's going to happen. But anyway, follow me at both places, at Clemson Sports, at CST Show. And we'll follow you to this commercial break and back. Stay with us.
iHeartRadio wants nothing more than to bring you closer to your favorite artists.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
So we've updated the iHeartRadio app. No, it's an upgrade. All your favorite music and stations, easier to find. Getting you closer to the music you love with just a tap.
This is Taylor Momsen from The Pretty Reckless, and this is iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Download and open the new iHeartRadio app today.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Our customers receive the best heating and air conditioning service in South Carolina. Hi, I'm Tim Mosley, and I can make that statement because that's what our customers tell us every day. We call it quality confirmed. Call us at 803-233-7172, and we'll call you when the job is done to confirm we met your expectations. That's quality confirmed. We're Carolina Conditions, and we're committed to meeting your expectations. 803-233-7172. Call us at 803-233-7172.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman-Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat & Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat & Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
From the Two Men in a Truck Movers Who Care Weather Center, mild and muggy conditions are expected throughout the overnight with the chance for some scattered showers and storms. Overnight lows lower 70s. On Saturday and Sunday, expect similar conditions, hit miss showers and storms, highs upper 80s. For Channel 25, ABC Columbia, I'm meteorologist Greg Armbrecht.
There's still time to save on the fresh flavors of summer at Food Lion. Save on black or red plums, just $1.49 a pound. 3-count pack romaine hearts are $2.29 each. And bulk yellow or white corn is $3 for $1. Food Lion. How refreshing.
There's still time to save on the fresh flavors of summer at Food Lion. Save on black or red plums, just $1.49 a pound. 3-count pack romaine hearts are $2.29 each. And bulk yellow or white corn is $3 for $1. Food Lion, how refreshing.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk, your iHeart Radio home for the Clemson Tigers, winners of the 2017 National Championship game.
Again, it is Clemson Sports Talk here. Whether you're downtown, whether you're uptown, does not matter to us. We appreciate you being a part of the program. 803-978-1832. We had a caller during the break. Sorry. I see that I missed your call. Stepped out of the room for a minute. Call us back. We'd love to work you in. Don't forget to be a part of the show on Twitter at Clemson Sports. Text us via the Ocean Reef Resort text line, 803-450-0086. And, of course, all our guests join us via the DNC Trucking and Transport guest line. That's why it's always fun to get guys in on the horn. Again, thank you to Dan Rubin earlier. Thank you to Zach Lentz. Both of those guys joining us via the DNC Trucking and Transport guest line. Suspensions. That's the time of the year, folks. That's where we are. It seems to happen a lot sooner in college football than it does, say, in middle school and elementary schools. It typically takes a little while for the kids at the schoolhouse to get worked up, but it doesn't take long, apparently, for the players. Florida State has suspended wide receiver Devontae Phillips indefinitely from the football team. Phillips is facing 5 felony fraud charges, including 4 charges of fraud cash deposit bank items with intent to defraud, and a charge of grand theft of more than $300. He was booked into jail Friday morning, bonded out at $143. He was a 4-star recruit and one of only 7 wide receivers on the entire Florida State roster. Many people believe he has the best hands on the team, was expected to have a much larger role this season. However, last year, the last 2 years in 19 games, he only has 5 catches for 30 yards. Of course, Florida State opens the season against Alabama in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, September the 2nd. A right now number 1 versus number 3 matchup, if you believe the coaches poll. That would be the highest rated matchup to open a season in the history of college football. In terms of suspensions, though, or indefinite suspensions, I guess I should say. Of course, it was reported yesterday that Deshaun Hand, star defensive lineman for Alabama, will not be suspended for his DUI arrest because of the fact that Nick Saban likes to handle these things in-house. If Deshaun Hand does what's required of him, including police ride-arounds and community service, prior to the season opener, he's going to be cleared. Now, his situation was a weird one because Deshaun Hand was found sitting in a parked car. So a weird DUI. It wasn't like he was driving about and got pulled over. He was sitting in a parked vehicle. This was not a parked at a stoplight a la Tiger Woods vehicle. Literally sitting in a parked car. Now that is strange. But according to the Tuscaloosa News, Ham was asleep in a parked vehicle when he was arrested for driving under the influence State law considers the person to be in constructive possession of the car if the keys are in the ignition. Deshaun Ham was discovered in a parking lot with the car running and the headlights on. He was charged with a DUI and held for a $1,000 bond. If this were the middle of winter, and maybe this doesn't matter at all, because again, I'm sure that many of you, I venture to guess that more than a handful of you have probably been to a gathering of sorts, a get-together perhaps. I even think about at your house. Let's say you've been at your house and you've decided to partake just a little bit.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
And maybe you got into an argument with your wife or girlfriend or whoever. And so you'd go out to the car. Now it's freezing in the car. It's the dead of winter. So you decide to start your car just to get the heat going a little bit, because you're just going to chill out and cool down. I guess figuratively cool down. Literally, you're going to heat up the car. So you fire up the vehicle, crank it up. You're sitting out in the driveway, got it running, keys in the ignition. It makes it hard for me to believe that if a police officer drove by your house at that moment, I would love, man, if you're a sheriff's deputy, if you're a local, law enforcement official, I'd love to know what the ruling is here in the state of South Carolina. Let's say you were at your house, and again, kind of weird, he was in a parking lot, but let's just say you were at your house, in your driveway, with your car running, simply because you were warming it up in the dead of winter and you'd had a little too much eggnog that night. If a police officer hypothetically were patrolling your neighborhood, saw the car running, saw you sitting in the car, came and knocked on the glass, you wake up from your slumber, warm and toasty, by the way, because the car's running and you've got the heat on. Roll down the window, cue the DUI commercial where the guy they open the car and there's martini olives and stuff pouring out on the feet of the officer. So now he smells the alcohol in your breath. Car's running, you're in your driveway, you haven't gone anywhere, you've only been in a disagreement with your wife or girlfriend that just forced you out of the house for a minute. Is that a DUI in South Carolina? I don't know. It seems like the verb driving would need to be a part of it. Driving under the influence. Parking under the influence, the old PUI, is not something I'm overly familiar with. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number. We got to hit a break, but we got a caller on hold. Perhaps they can answer my question. I'm hoping to hear from not only a law-abiding citizen, but potentially a law enforcement official to give me the skinny on my hypothetical scenario. It's different than Deshaun Hands for sure, but nonetheless one that's probably happened a time or two to some of you out there. We'll find out perhaps when we get back.
Need Custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason the other day, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." I was like, "What makes you say that, son?" He said, "When I go outside to play now, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was just a couple of weeks ago call Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe with their routine service plan. No more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
Have you been thinking about sprucing up your yard, debating between pine straw or mulch? Call my friends at Carolina Turfgrass to get your yard looking as great as mine right now. I chose to go with pine straw this year, and it looks incredible. Carolina Turfgrass is conveniently located at 5400 Augusta Road in Lexington, and if you need your order delivered, they can take care of that too. In addition, Carolina Turfgrass carries a wide variety of turfs, including Centipede and Bermuda. For unmatched quality and service, call Carolina Turfgrass, 446-6525. Look for Carolina Turfgrass on Highway 1 in Lexington.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules. Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show now at 978-1832 or text 803-450-0086.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Again, Florida State season opener against Alabama. Florida State has a player arrested and charged with fraud, suspended indefinitely. Alabama's star defensive lineman Deshaun Hand, former number one player in the country, if I remember correctly, on the defensive line, charged with DUI. Now, he's sitting in his car, keys in the ignition. Of course, Nick Saban going to handle it internally. Going to take care of it himself. The truth on the line. We asked the questioner, we gave a scenario about this, similarly, if you walked out of your house and you were sitting in your own car in your driveway, you didn't go anywhere, you just cranked the car because it's cold, and you had an argument with your wife or girlfriend or whoever, and you were just trying to chill out away from the house for a little bit, but you didn't want to drive because you knew you couldn't, because you'd had too much to drink, so you were sitting in a car with it running. The truth. Break it down for me.
All right. The truth, as I've been told by a family member who is law enforcement, bartenders ask you for your keys. That way you can't leave. Not only that, but you can be charged for DUI for sitting in your car with it not running. If you pass out in that vehicle with your keys in your pocket in the state of South Carolina, you can be charged for DUI. I must say you've got a very good chance of beating that charge, but you can be charged for DUI. You can be charged for DUI riding your lawnmower, cutting grass. If you can be arrested for DUI. If you are at a dirt track,
okay.
If they want to stack the charges against you, they can charge you for racing at a dirt track. They can charge you for DUI.
Let me ask you something. Can you drink a beer while you're on a riding lawnmower? Because if you can't, I got a feeling there's a lot of people going to be disappointed.
Open container on private property is different. But driving any motor vehicle, you can be charged with DUI.
So the open container laws on a lawnmower are
that
different.
open container on a lawnmower, you're fine.
Good to know.
You're fine on private property. But open container, just how do I put this? Open container is not DUI by all means. You know that as well as I do.
Right. I got
open
you.
container on your private property. But if you are driving a motor vehicle, even on your private property, you can be charged DUI. Wow. Just like a kid can be charged for DUI in a mall parking lot. You can be charged for DUI in a Chick-fil-A parking lot. That's not on a public road. That's private property. Yeah, so it's if you own the property, I guess the open container thing is kind of invalid. But yes, you can be charged for DUI. As I was told by a law enforcement officer, granted this was 2-3 years ago in the state of South Carolina, for operating any motor vehicle.
The truth, man. Appreciate it.
He's on, sitting there, keeping warm. You can be charged with it.
There you go. So now we know. You know what? That show Live PD where they're all over the state of South Carolina, they're in Greenville, they're in Richland County. The other week I'm watching it opens up like in front of my wife's mom's neighborhood. I was like, oh boy, where are we going now? Maybe I'll get to see my first lawnmower DUI here in Richland County. I may have to tune in to Live PD tonight to see what's going on. David D23 says, it's an excellent question, Swanee, regarding open container laws and lawnmowers. Thank you. Trying to make sure you guys are being safe there while you're cutting on your zero turn radius mower. Man, I wish I had one of those. I wish I had a yard that required one of those as well. I just got the old walk behind. That'll eventually turn into a push because I'm a cheapo. And once the walk behind goes and gives, once the gears are done, I'm going to push it till I can't push it anymore. There we go. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. You guys are wild, man. That's all I'm going to tell you. I got sometimes we get going and I don't know, you guys kind of take the wheel and I just let you have it. Roger chiming in on Twitter. He's at RC Sports Cars. He says, Swan, I don't think you can be in the driver's seat drunken part unless the keys are in the trunk and locked away. Well, if the keys are in the trunk, how am I going to get them out of the trunk? Oh, I guess if I'm in the car, I can pop the trunk button, can I? I think. You got to go through that little secret compartment in the back. Maybe that's how you get to them. What if you're an SUV? There is no trunk. What do we do then? I need to know. By the way, over on social media, again, yesterday we put out the quote that Dabo Swinney had on C.J. Fuller. If you missed it, oh, it's spectacular. He said when C.J. got here, they nicknamed him Bread because he looked kind of soggy. Now, man, he looks like some crisp toast. But that wasn't the only great conversational point that came out from Clemson yesterday. I don't know if you saw this one as well, but even with day one in the books, Tony Elliott, we got the entire YouTube video up, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. You can go over there and you'll see these also on our Twitter feed. Tony Elliott, when talking about Hunter Johnson, freshman quarterback, Tony Elliott saying, and I quote, his demeanor looked a lot more confident. He just looked a lot more comfortable. Nothing seemed to overwhelm him. That's Tony Elliott on Hunter Johnson. Again, all of that coverage coming to you on ClemsonSportsTalk.com, on Twitter at Clemson Sports. If you haven't got our schedule wallpapers, they are still pinned over on our Twitter feed. You can also find them on our Facebook page. We'd love to have you be a part of the show by not only being a part of it here live, but also having a little bit of it in your pocket on that cell phone. We have a free app. But those schedule wallpapers, the gray games or the road games, everything else is exactly what you expect. Those are the home games in color. We've had a lot of reaction to that on social media, people hitting us up, telling us that they liked them. Again, we'd love for you to add that to your phone. We also have one for a computer. I started to realize when I was making the computer wallpaper how little I'm actually in front of a computer working during the day. So much of what I do is right here, mobile, right in my hand. But the computer wallpaper nonetheless looks really, really good. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and you ladies enjoy it. Be safe out there. Don't operate your lawnmower if you've had any beer. According to reports, that may or may not be you may or may not be able to be taken to the Hooscow for a DUI on your lawnmower. We'll verify that. When I was a kid, we had the old snapper lawnmower. Had like 6 gears on the side. Man, that was a great mower. The thing is, I have concerns about my dad. Like, I know I am not the best parent, and I always thought my dad, really was. Now I look back at the photos where I'm like 6 on that riding lawnmower, and I'm looking at my daughter, who is absolutely a terror on wheels. At 5, listen, there ain't a chance she's getting close to a lawnmower. I don't even want her close to a pair of scissors. But there I am, scrawny and shirtless in my cut-off jeans. I guess we call those jorts nowadays. We didn't back then. Those are some cut-off jeans. Look like I weigh about 75 pounds dripping wet, maybe less. Probably less. And I'm out there cutting the grass on the riding mower. I'm lucky I have all my appendages still. You put that bad boy in 5th gear, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what, yeah, you could get a DUI on that thing. It would stroll. Best mower we ever had. My neighbor Jeff actually bought one not long ago. Jeff's kind of like that. You probably have a neighbor like this too. Just got into a kick of buying lawnmowers. He bought one of mine. That was when I got my new one. Love Jeff. Great neighbor though. Lots of fun here tonight. Appreciate each and every one of you. Again, check out Logan's Heroes, the golf tournament tomorrow at Hidden Valley Golf Course down in Gaston. As always, take care now, and go Tigers!
The solar eclipse is coming. Watch it safely and in style with your free eclipse glasses available right now at all Pit Stop convenience stores. That's right, Coca-Cola and Pit Stop are partnering to give a pair of eclipse glasses to every customer who buys a Coke product at Pit Stop. Absolutely no catch. Just buy a Coke product and get a pair of commemorative glasses free. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last, so hurry in, because like the eclipse, if you miss it, you miss it. Want free eclipse glasses? Don't stop till you're at Pit Stop.
Hi, my name is Donald Kidwell, current owner of CrossFit Iron Mary's. After finding CrossFit in 2012, I lost 128 pounds. At CrossFit Iron Mary's, you're not a barcode, you're an actual person. Where you are now is not important. Where you want to be is. 3 locations to reach your fitness goals in Columbia: the Old Mill in Lexington, Trotter Road in West Columbia, and downtown near the Carolina Baseball Stadium. Check us out online at CrossFitIronMarys.com or give us a call at 803-414-9601. Set up your first set of free classes today at CrossFit Iron Mary's, 803-414-9601.
Looking to get away without having to spend a whole day traveling to your destination? Ocean Reef Resort offers 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom accommodations with the comforts of home and boasts the best oceanfront views. Swim in their sparkling indoor and outdoor pools, relax in their hot tubs, try out the Adventure Oasis pool with adult-sized water slide, or just float down the 250-foot lazy river. Visit us at oceanreefmyrtlebeach.com or call us at 1-866-935-0530 to learn more.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan, with quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com. Lawton Swan here, and I know in sports we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should.
So, who's going to do what? Flashlights?
Nowhere to be found.
Where to be found? Batteries?
Dead.
Great. Emergency supply kits?
Not packed.
No. What about blankets?
We have an old towel.
Good enough. Cell phones?
May not work.
Emergency water?
Not a drop.
And what about food?
Nope.
Perfect. We all know where we're meeting if we're separated, yeah?
The library. Aunt Joan's house. The bus stop.
Great. And I'll be waiting here wondering where you all are. Sounds like we don't have a plan. Who's up for mini golf?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency. Who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. A public service announcement brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
From the E.F. Martin Heating and Air Studios, this is Fox Sports Radio 1400.
WCOS Columbia.
Available anywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app.
Fox Sports trending now.
Pitcher Yu Darvish is making his Dodger debut tonight. He in L.A. leading 2-0 at the Mets at the end of 2 innings. 2 solo homers off Mets starter Jacob deGrom, from Yasiel Puig and from Chris Taylor, the Dodgers leadoff man who's hitting over 400 since the All-Star break. Also in progress, Cardinals tied 1-1 at Cincinnati in the bottom of the 5th inning. At Cleveland, it's 3-0 Tribe over the Yankees, and Jaime Garcia now in the bottom of the 3rd. Today, Washington got 2 home runs from Daniel Murphy. He's batting over .330. Washington beats the Cubs in Chicago 4-2. The Cubbies have lost 3 games in a row. Justin Verlander is starting for Detroit at Baltimore tonight. He's 6-7 on the season. Reportedly, he has cleared waivers, so Verlander could still be traded this month. He does have a no-trade clause. Tigers 1-1 at Baltimore, top of the 3rd. I'm Steve DeSager.
We are Fox Sports.
This.
Can you call up to the 4th floor and see if we can do the entire show on Brad and Angelina?
Is JT the Brick with Tom Looney.
We digress.
This is the most interactive show.
I listen to it over iHeart Radio.
JT the Brick with Tom Looney.
I'm not a guy who has poll questions. I just like to do raw, aggressive, in-your-face sports talk.
Live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, no Looney tonight. Steve DeSager in a few moments. On a Friday night here on Fox Sports Radio, the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com for the free rate quote. Busy show. We're in August. That is my go time. We go with college and NFL football. I like to go early instead of late. And if you're a football fan, you're welcome to come in whenever you want at 877-99 on Fox. I'm on Twitter at JT The Brick, and you can find us on Facebook at JT The Brick. So we're going to begin with Jay Cutler, potentially to the Dolphins, which I said that, but I think as quick as anybody said it when Tannehill went down and we were waiting for confirmation. We went on the show last night, 24 hours ago, when we started to learn more about the clarity of the situation, where he wouldn't need reconstructive knee surgery. He could probably rest out and play for it. He probably needs surgery to clean it up and be better to save his career long term, but the decision was going to be made for him eventually, because this is not about Ryan Tannehill wanting to play quarterback. It's about ownership, the head coach, and the trainers deciding on what is the best way to move forward to get Tannehill ready for the